This is a little up to date on what's going on with the FDA. This comes out of cspdailynews.com. It's dated March 19th, 2019. It says FDA direction emerges as commissioner makes exit. It says just more than 2 weeks ago, U.S. Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Scott Gottlieb informed U.S. Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar, the White House, and FDA employees that he would leave the agency within the month in order to spend more time with his family in Connecticut. Within a week of Gottlieb's announcement, President Trump appointed National Cancer Institute Director Ned Sharpless as acting chief of the agency. And that was also in unison with FDA Commissioner Scott Gottlieb. He also had a say in regards to Ned Sharpless being appointed as the acting FDA commissioner. The FDA falls under the purview of the HHS. Upon the announcements, Azar told the media, quote, "There will be no let-up in the agency's focus, from ongoing efforts on drug approvals and combating the opioid crisis to modernizing food safety and addressing the rapid rise in youth use of e-cigarettes," unquote. Gottlieb indicated that under the acting commissioner, the, quote, FDA will continue to secure its consumer protection role and advance policies to promote innovation and safety for families, unquote. As it relates to tobacco and nicotine regulation, Director of the Center for Tobacco Products, Mitch Zeller, will continue in his role in determining the direction of the agency as it relates to tobacco and nicotine product regulation. So Mitch Zeller is still there. And as long as he's there, he's going to be a great big pain in the rear end as far as the vaping industry and the so-called community. You can read sort of whatever you like else there. Who fills Gottlieb's shoes permanently will have a considerable impact in the regulatory direction of the agency in the final 21 months of Trump's term. Gottlieb raised many issues and publicly indicated desired actions, but usually has not chosen to propose specific rules that can only take effect after navigating the administrative rulemaking process. He initiated dialogue on reduced nicotine cigarettes, limiting where certain types of products may and may not be sold, and restricting flavors in tobacco products, including vapor. The agency has also weighed in on changing the age of purchase for tobacco products, but that change would require congressional action with the necessary approval of the president. So all of this will continue on under Sharpless and or whoever is appointed as a permanent and confirmed by the Senate as far as the FDA commissioner, the permanent one. It is not yet known whether Sharpless will be an interim commissioner or whether he will eventually assume leadership of the FDA on a permanent basis. The permanent FDA commissioner is appointed by the president with the advice and consent of the Senate. That means whomever is nominated will appear before the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee, chaired by Senator Lamar Alexander, Republican out of Tennessee. So I just wanted to this is a nice conclusory point. I mean, it was concise, to the point, and people that think out there that, Gottlieb leaving is going to give us some kind of upper hand or some leeway or be lenient. No, those days are over. Those days were screwed all up because of the jewel crisis in regards to the youth, the epidemic. Yes, there is an epidemic. All it means is a rapid increase in usage. Rapid increase. A lot of people think when they think of epidemics, they think of the HIV epidemic, they think of polio, they think of Black Plague. No, all it means is a rapid increase. That's all. It's a very simple concept. I know you guys don't like it, but that's the way it is. So because of that, because of the rapid youth epidemic, or the youth epidemic due to the rapid increase in usage, as well as the whole issue with the Juul, and then, of course, vapors in the so-called community, online and offline, don't give a damn about possessing any vapor product after August 8, 2016 that has a manufactured finished product date. And once again, the industry, the vaping industry, runs rampant. China will continue to produce, innovate vaping products. They will sell them around the world. They will always exist. It's up to the United States importers and distributors and wholesalers and retailers to bring all of those particular products into the U.S. markets and its territories. You only have yourselves to blame out there. You can't say, well, China, it's because of China. Well, eventually they'll be banned, those products. But probably what the Food and Drug Administration Center for Tobacco Products will also do is go after United States retailers and wholesalers and distributors and importers, and also sort of circle the wagon, so to speak, that way as well, between that and the importation through the U.S. Border Protection Services. You know, it's only been about a little over 2 years since the August 8th, 2016, the effective date of the FDA final rule in regards to vaping, which is codified in the Family Smoking Prevention Tobacco Control Act of 2009. It's only been 2 years since it's been regulated. That is the vaping industry. It's going to take a little while for it to happen, but eventually it's going to happen. And being is that the August 8, 2022 is now moved to August 8, 2021, which is still not the official federal date. It's actually August 8th of 2018. We essentially live in an illusion, thinking that we are fine when we are not. As they say, ignorance is bliss, and that certainly is across the board in the vaping community, so-called vaping community, online and offline, as well as in the vaping industry. Sometimes it's good to be stupid. Sometimes it's good to be naive, in denial, ignorant, whatever you want to call it. Regardless if it's the FDA commissioner or acting commissioner, Ned Sharpless, either he gets confirmed as the permanent commissioner or they put someone else in his place eventually, which will need confirmation by the Senate as well. Either way, the vaping industry, the vaping so-called community, online and offline, is not going to last as long as you think. And especially when you compile or compound it with nicotine replacement therapies that Big Pharma, Pfizer, Merck, GlaxoSmithKline, and whatever has been given the green light to innovate electronic nicotine delivery systems, which will be like in the form of closed system, a vapor product. It won't be pills or inhalators or injectors or gels or gums or patches or any of that. It would be actually like something like maybe a Juul, something like that. In fact, there's some rumor going around that Juul may actually try to reclassify its products as a drug classification and go through the new drug application. That may very well happen. See what happens. Either way, the future is very stark. Can't pronounce these words. STARK. It's, in other words, it's not very bright at the end of the tunnel. It's, in fact, the tunnel is so dark that it'll remain dark forever. And we only have ourselves to blame for that. There's no excuse. No, you can give me all the thumbs down you like. It doesn't matter. The future is set for the vaping industry, and nothing is going to change it. Nothing at all. Between health organizations, between big pharma, between parents, teachers, educational institutions, the media, you name it. Vaping as we know it will be a thing of the past eventually, be it a year or two from now, but eventually it's going to come to an end. So anyway, I want to let you go, but you only have yourselves to blame. You'll have people putting out, like Mark Fagan just put out another product. Mr. Just Right just put another product out. Suck My Ma just put another product out. I'm sure there's many other things in the works. I'm not just picking on these individuals that are putting these particular products out that we know of from YouTube channels or YouTubers, let alone all the hundreds of other products that are pumped out every day of each year since August 8th of 2016. And then you have the nicotine salt at 50, 60 milligrams of nicotine. And then you have the Juul situation. And then you have people that are just plain dumb or ignorant or naive or in denial. And you combine all of that together, and then you wonder why the vaping as we know it is coming to an end. It should not come as a surprise to anyone. You got the Food and Drug Administration. You got the Center for Tobacco Products. You got the United States Health and Human Services Department. You got Homeland Security. You got the Alcohol, Tobacco, or Firearms. You got the United States Custom Border Protection Services. You even have the United States Department of Treasury kicking in, because that's going to, the user fee mainly is put through that. It goes to the United States Department of Treasury and then goes to the Food and Drug Administration, or actually goes to the Health and Human Services Department, which then it goes to the FDA. And then, of course, they have the court system. So far, we have lost the Nickel Pure Labs Right to Be Smoke-Free Coalition's lawsuit on the lower court in the United States District Court. It's going to be struck down on the appeals court. You have Lost Art Liquids that's still pending out there. It's still in the lower court. You have still the health organizations that are suing the FDA in regards to the August 8th of 2016, August 8th of 2018 being moved to August 8th of 2022. And they just moved the court a few days ago that was moved to August 8th, 2021. But it's still not federal statute, not the official federal statute. I just pointed that out to the court just recently. You have all these cases pending in court, and they're all going to go to the wayside. They're all going to go against us. So what do you have? You don't have anything. All you have is the ticking of the time clock. And every day that goes by, Every hour that ticks off is the fate of the vaping industry. And eventually, in time, it'll dry up. So, my only suggestion is either buy products you like now, the e-liquids you like now, because it's going to come to an end. As they say, all good things come to an end. Well, certainly applies to our case. I think for some time there, I started in April 2011. So, and it was very, very fundamental type of devices back in those days, like Ego battery, and a plastic claramizer. And then we have come, even before that, they had the quartomizers and things of that. You still had even quartomizers in 2011, but even before that. Well, I look over the years from a subjective point of view. I would say it really took off around 2014, mainly 2015. So, as far as my own personal experience, I had a good 4 years of really enjoying vaping without any restraints or regulations at all. And there are those that have been around even longer, like Ferro Pizzardo and Vaping Greek and Grim Green, that date back to 2009. So they had their vaping experience last for about 5-6 years before they saw things started to change as far as restraints and regulations. So what I'm saying is the good old days of being able to do whatever you like as a vapor is over. And we have to accept the simple fact that we are not above the law, that we will be regulated, and that's just reality. We don't live in the old West. You don't make rules and laws according to how you choose to or believe so. This whole concept that heavy metal vapor and vaporized nomads and those guys put out, civil disobedience. I can guarantee you one thing only. If heavy metal vapor, if the federal government came after him for opening up all these new vape shops with manufactured finished product date products after August 8, 2016, his civil disobedience would go by the wayside. First thing he'd do is hire a lawyer to defend his ass. And as far as the defense of civil disobedience, his attorney will tell him that is no defense. You could try it, but you're going to lose. And it goes for anyone out there with that attitude of civil disobedience. That's a justification. That's a rationalization. That is not real. That is not real. Vapors cannot accept the simple fact that we are not above the law, that we are not above regulations, that is what the government does on a federal, state, and local level. They regulate our lives. Some people may say they control our lives. Well, Congress is the will of the people. And according to the will of the people, even Congress is not at all in the vapors, on the vapor side. 2015, 2016, early part of 2017, we had vapor bills in Congress, in the United States Congress. Now everything that's in the United States Congress is against vaping. So not even the United States Congress, the will of the people, are on our side. And it's partially to be blamed for these organizations that we have. CASA, ZAFATA, Vapor Technology Association, EVCA, what's left of it, not blowing smoke, EMSA, American Vaping Association. What have they done on a federal level? They have not accomplished anything. Nothing. Even though the VTA will say, well, we have done things for you. No, you have not. Not at all. So we have we have no organization out there, a trade association or a social welfare organization, to put out into the open forum or into society, into American society, to try to change the will of the people. CASA has done a terrible job of representing the consumer slash vapor. And the trade associations have done a terrible job in representing the vaping industry as a whole. So when you take all these factors, all these titles and names and organizations and governmental agencies, and you take it all into consideration, everything is against us. Everything. From Congress to the executive branch, even Trump. President Donald John Trump actually proposes in his budget for the 2020 to put a user fee or a federal excise tax on electronic cigarettes or electronic nicotine delivery systems or vapor products. Even the executive branch, the highest office of the land, of the United States land and its territories, is against vaping. So you got the executive branch, you got Congress, and you even got the court system against vaping, let alone the media, the health organizations, the parents, the teachers, the educators. Campaign for tobacco-free kids on down the line. It's a grim, very grim future. In fact, there is no future. It's an illusion. Anyway, it's once in a while it's good to speak the truth. People cannot handle the truth. People cannot handle the facts of what it is to be a vapor in the 21st century in the United States. Hardly anyone can handle the words that have come out of my mouth. So once again, you will go into that basic platitude. Hopefully that's the right word I'm using. And that is, ignorance is bliss. And on that point, you guys have a good one if you can. Bye-bye.